Good morning and welcome to Connect MKE. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on the unfortunate rise in violence that we've seen in the city. Milwaukee police recently responded to 20 weekend shootings that claimed the life of 3 people. With that said, homicides are up 50% in the city, and there have been over 70 homicides up to this point. My first guest has spent many years working to make a difference in the city of Milwaukee, whether he's bringing citizens, leaders, and organizations together to have discussions about the issues or rallying our youth together to show them a better way. Community activist Tracey Dent has worked tirelessly to help change the narrative. I'm happy to have him join us today. How are you, Tracey?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on your show.
It's good to have you here. And of course, you've appeared on this show on many occasions to talk about the work that you're doing in and for the community. So I think your latest initiative is much needed and extremely timely. So I wanted to have you here because this past week, you've brought young people as well as community leaders together for the Milwaukee Youth Victory Over Violence Week. Tell us more about that and some of the things that took place.
Well, like you said, there's so much pain that's happening in this city. So much violence, and people are dying, and people are afraid to go outside. I want to do something unique, and I came up with the idea of Youth Victory Over Violence Week because the youth is dealing with so much, and they feel that nobody cares about them. So me and my team had identified a particular school, which is Milwaukee Excellence Charter High School. And basically what we did, we tried to identify the issues that's facing the youth. So the first day we had done reckless driving and stolen cars. Second day we did sexual violence, which that was so deep. It was tough. It was tough to deal with. Some of the kids was crying and stuff like that. We have a video, a sexual violence video. Mm-hmm. And that was like while they was watching it, because at the end of the video you see the teen committed suicide because of sexual violence. Mm-hmm. Wednesday was gun violence, and Thursday we double up on mental health and bullying, and then Friday the school had a talent show. Saturday, there you go. They had breakfast for the youth, and then we had to walk on Sunday. So mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
like I said, very timely. But so I think this was a great example of what can happen when you bring young people together to have a space to talk about the things that they're witnessing and dealing with, just like all the adults. And many of us are trying to understand what's going on because it's pretty overwhelming, I believe. So for those who are watching this broadcast on Saturday, you did mention you have a youth breakfast and award scenario for them. And then they're taking a tour of America's Black Holocaust Museum. Talk about the significance of that.
A lot of our young Black boys and girls do not really know their Black heritage and all the Black advancements and all the things that we have done as a community. I think that they're going to be overwhelmed. Like, wow, I never thought that a Black person, did this and did that. They only, focus on their surroundings, the here and now. But to learn about their heritage, maybe make them feel proud about, I'm proud to be a Black man. I'm proud to be a Black girl, and it's, and we gave them tickets that they can use at their leisure time. So they don't have to go on a certain day. So they can go when they're ready. They can take someone with them and just really lay back and really enjoy the Black history.
Absolutely. There's the saying that if you don't know where you've been, you can't know where you're going. So I love the
Yes.
fact that you opened that up to them. And then on Sunday, this is open to the entire public. You have
Yes.
a violence prevention month that's kicking off in the city of Milwaukee with this walk that really
Yes.
is about stopping the violence. It's going to happen on King Drive at the
Mhm.
Victory Over Violence Park. So it all ties in nicely. And like I said, everyone is invited to take part in this in this walk. So if you would
Yeah.
kind of give us the details on that.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to assemble at the King statue on Martin Luther King Drive and Vine at 2 o'clock. Some people are going to come at 1:30 to, to greet the people that comes in.
Mhm.
And then we're going to basically walk down to Martin Luther King Drive and Clark, which is the Victory Over Violence Park. The youth is going to lead the walk itself. The
Mhm.
youth represents the leaders of tomorrow, while the adults are represents wisdom and guidance. So that's why we're going to be in the background and let them take the lead to against violence. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So and that's the significance about that for the whole thing, and it's going to be very exciting because we have a drum line, we have a dance team, motorcycle clubs are coming. I mean, it's going to be, I think it's going to be something for Milwaukee to remember.
Yeah, with a very
Something to
special
remember.
message of stopping the violence. National
Yes.
data shows that students who are mentored have higher graduation rates, lower incidences of violence, and
Yes.
perform better overall in school. So during the Victory Over Violence Week, you had several speakers, which included State Senator Lena Taylor, also a
Hmm.
representative from the mayor's office, and others. Tell me, or give us an idea of what they had to say to these young people.
Well, Senator Lena Taylor, she actually came every day this week, and I am just so proud, to see her come and represent the elected officials. And each day she just basically talked about life experiences. As a black girl, black woman, things that she dealt with. Victim of sexual violence, domestic violence, and things like that. The youth was so excited to see someone that looks like them in that type of role as a state
Hmm.
senator, and that meant a lot to them. I think that she connected with a lot of youth. There's been so many different organizations. We had over 20 different organizations that participated in this. So it shows that it was a whole village that came together to service 290 students.
Wow.
That's great. That's great. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Tracey, you've always understood the power of partnerships. So, like you said, you
Yes.
had many outstanding businesses and organizations that teamed up with you to make this possible, but you also teamed up with the Milwaukee Police Department. Talk about the
Yes.
significance of that and the importance of really that relationship between the community and the police getting better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and that's it. They just wanted to show the police want to show that you don't have to be afraid. They're human, just like you and I. And I think that it opened a lot of eyes this week. It's in itself because it's the fear of the unknown. All you hear about rumors about this and that, and there's bad apples in every industry, and they just showed that it's very important for the police and the community to work together to help reduce the violence in our city. And reaching out to the youth is great because the youth had so many questions for the police department.
Mhm.
Just because they it's like they hear it but they don't really know. you know, and I think they was very engaged. They was like, wow, I never knew that. Or, the police, gave examples of scenarios, basically, of what would happen if we do this or we do that, and got them engaged. Like, what would you do, if you was a police officer? So I
Wow.
think that's very important.
I agree with you completely. And we know that, like you just said, there are bad apples in every bunch, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I think that, of course, we know there are some outstanding kids out here who are doing great
Oh,
things.
yes.
And it's
Yes.
unfortunate that what they're doing gets overshadowed by the kids who are
Mhm.
making the wrong and bad decisions. So, what did you
Right.
gather from some of the young people who are witnessing these situations with the stolen cars, the reckless driving, and what did they have to say about some of the stuff that's going on?
Yeah, it's man, some of the youth was talking about they don't have fear, they don't care, they don't have fear of death, and
Mm,
that was deep. That was very deep. They feel that the problem is they don't get the love at the home. They said that, well, yeah, it's okay that my parents, she's working, working two jobs, but you're not home to get to know who I am and what I'm
mm,
dealing with on a daily basis. So if they don't get that love and that guidance at home, then they're gonna be out in the streets, and they be
wow.
bored. They said that they did admit that COVID did play effect, in the situations that's going on with the reckless driving and stuff. Because they said they was bored. They had nothing to do. There's nothing to do here in the city because, like, well, now you can't go to skate land, and now it's like, what are we supposed to do now? And so they started stealing cars and stuff like that. Nobody's encouraging them to get a job. So they, rob people and get money or get fast money on the streets. So it's like, it's just more of the adults. I mean, we have to step up, be the mentors to these youth, and we just can't be a one-time mentor. You got to be there all the time because
Hmm.
they need guidance. They need this. They said they even need discipline, and they just kept it raw with us.
Wow. And so, with that, being able to gather all of this information and actually explain to them why it's not okay, even if you're bored, to steal cars and rob people, do you see
Right.
yourself doing this on a larger scale where maybe you have different schools coming together for maybe a day of an assembly like this?
Yes. We're actually going to, in the next week or so, we're going to, compare notes and develop a plan of action going forward. Are we going to do like next year, next school year, are we going to do two schools, three schools? Maybe we're going to partner up with MPS and really bring all the resources, to the youth, as many
Yeah,
schools as we can, because we have to reach out to them. We have to show them that we care, you know, because if they don't care about themselves, why would they care about us when they do
right.
things?
Wow.
And we have to show that love. We have to show that love because a lot of them don't get that love and support at home. So us as adults, we have to speak to them when we see them on the street to say hello, hi, how you doing? That goes a long ways. That goes a
Gotcha.
long ways.
Well, thank you. The work that you've done continuously in this community goes a long way as well. And I speak for a lot of people. I say this every time I talk to you. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for not giving up on this city. And I hope everybody comes out to support this walk on May 1st. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Community activist Tracey Dent is the organizer of Youth Victory Over Violence Week, which wraps up on Sunday, May 1st. For more information, you can give them a call at 414-502-72 96. When we return to Connect MKE, we'll talk to a representative from a nonprofit organization that was founded with the theory that improvements in public safety require the combination of law enforcement, community organizing, and youth development. We'll discuss Safe and Sound right after this.